Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talk. So before I get started, right off the bat, today is going to be a great video. It really is. It's going to be talking about trading food for gold and silver in a way, in like a barter scenario. Right off the bat, I know some people are already saying not possible, not going to happen, and you may not have even clicked on the video because of it. But I think it's a strong possibility. The reason I'm doing this video is because I had a comment recently and on a short video, and they said they didn't believe that that was possible, but they love silver because they think it's going to keep going up in an inflationary environment, which is exactly what we're in right now. However, I want people to understand it is a strong possibility that you may have to trade some silver or gold for some food. And I'm going to lay out some scenarios where it actually has happened already because they don't trust the currency. And I know right off the bat, I think this is going to be a great video. It was a great comment. It was, said that he didn't really think it could happen, but I think it could, and I'm going to lay it out for you. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, and leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this. So right off the bat, I always like to start the video with a quick recap of what's going on in the market. We got $32.46 silver right now, which means it's pretty stable. We have gold trading at $29.08, which is pretty good. We got the DXY that has fallen a little bit more. We are under 104, which some YouTubers are saying once it goes below 104, we were actually at 103.5 today. They made it sound like, once we hit 104, under that, that's it. The whole system's breaking down. Here we are now under 104, and, things are going bad little by little, and they're going to keep going bad little by little. We got Bitcoin trading at $82,500 at the time of filming this. We've got the debt continuing to climb up at 36.5 trillion. The Fed meeting in about 2 weeks, roughly, not even. Oh my word, 1 week now. March 18th and 19th. I think that's going to be interesting because I think they're going to cut rates now. Some stuff has been happening. So right off the bat, jumping into the topic that everybody is waiting for. Obviously, when you start looking up people having to trade, and I specifically typed in Lebanon jewelry for food, you will start finding different news articles of Lebanon, Venezuela, countries that have experienced major currency crises. The first one we're going to take a look at right off is the Venezuela situation. Now, has this gotten a lot better since 2021? Yeah. It has gotten a little bit better. They've stabilized their economy a little bit. However, gold and silver has value. It may not have, people think that, oh no, when nobody has any money, who's going to buy your gold and silver? People are going to be more worried about food. We're going to take Venezuela, for instance. That is true in Venezuela, where people were more worried about food and surviving than they were gold and silver. However, some companies, some individuals, some black market, there's always going to be someone that can get something into the country and get something out of the country. In this case, black markets literally were asking for gold and silver. If you had a flake of gold, it didn't matter. They valued it as money. If it was an old broken earring, they valued it as money. If it was a gold chain, just one link, they were literally breaking off links of jewelry for basically food. Now, the question comes up, is it jewelry though they want? They don't want the jewelry. They don't care if the jewelry's broken. They don't care if you cut it up in front of them. They want the gold. They want the silver. The silver and the gold is where the value is. Now, how easy is it to bring a ship full of rice into another country? Well, it's easy, but who's going to pay for it? Someone's got to pay for it. Gold is accepted everywhere in the world. So even if people we're going to use America, or we'll use Venezuela, for instance. Even in Venezuela, when people didn't have essentially a whole lot of extra cash, and the cash they did have was getting watered down too quick, in a currency crisis, you're seeing massive hyperinflation. They wanted something that had value. In a hyperinflation, you get a good lesson that prices are going up, not because the prices are going up, but because the value of the money, the worth of the money, the worth of the fiat cash is coming down. They're watering it down. They're making too much of it. In Weimar Germany after the war, they had to pay back a lot of their bills, and so they just thought, hey, we'll just print money like crazy. They printed money like crazy. And eventually it came back in a huge hyperinflation. Weimar Germany is like one of the most, I guess, lessons in history that you can learn from, because they experienced hardcore hyperinflation. It was one of the earlier ones that in our time period that we've talked about, essentially. And Venezuela is just the most recent. That's why you can still find a lot of good articles. It's fresh, so people still understand the lessons. Unfortunately, when people forget lessons of history, they repeat them. And there are lessons that have happened before and we didn't learn from them, and eventually we'll repeat them. I'm convinced that we're not far away from another Great Depression, and we could see a 1929 stock market crash, crypto market crash, and devastate everything. But you know what? Gold and silver is still going to have value. No matter what happens to the currencies, gold and silver always have value. Why? Because there's always someone out there that wants it. Even if in your area you essentially don't see that. I actually had someone recommend a book to me, The Great Pearl, and he recommended it because he was against gold and silver, and I was like, I don't know, bro. The book to me lined up exactly why you would want gold and silver. It doesn't have value on that little island. And then pearls, in the book The Great Pearl, the pearl didn't have a lot of value on the little island. The little island had a bunch of people that went out in their little kayaks, collected oysters, cracked them open for pearls, and then took the pearls to the one or two guys in the middle of the city or the middle of the island that essentially would buy their pearls. And they bought them for pennies on the dollar. They essentially ripped off people. And those pearls then got sent somewhere else where they had huge value. Gold and silver doesn't always have value right then at that exact moment in time. I can tell you gold and silver didn't have a lot of value when Hurricane Harvey hit. Probably in Hurricane Katrina, the same scenario. I wasn't there. I was in Hurricane Harvey. But people wanted stuff that they could use. You know, the ATMs were down. The power grid was down. People had to drive a long ways away to get stuff. And you know what? People came in with it. They brought in truckloads of generators and stuff, and they were essentially scalping them right there on the street. There's always going to be people that are looking to make money off of essentially other people's hardships. And this is a prime example right here. People are trading gold for what it looks like some vitamins, some shampoos, and maybe some Gillette body deodorant. I'm probably going to smell when that time comes because I ain't giving up my gold for some deodorant. But needless to say, you know, you have to understand when the currency doesn't have value because they have printed mass amounts of it and it's watered down instantly, they want something of value. Now, some people will say, why would anybody trade for gold? They can't eat it. They can't, you know what I'm saying? They can't eat it. They can't do anything with it. Well, yeah, they can do something with it. They can send it to another country and probably get a case of Gillette for it because they recognize it has value. What they don't want is your paper currency. Now, anybody that wants to look this up, you can look up Lebanon trading jewelry for food. You can go on and YouTube. YouTube is a great place to find a lot of different stuff. You'll start seeing a lot of different scenarios when you start typing in this stuff. I happen to pull up this video because it's only 50 seconds, and I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit while it's playing. But here you can see, let me see if I can actually mute that. So here you can actually see people are trading essentially jewelry for money. They're trading gold jewelry on the black market so they can get items that they need and large amounts of cash to get the items that they need. The jewelry is just like gold and silver. But, I mean, more people in these countries are going to have a piece of jewelry. They're probably not going to have a gold coin. They're probably not going to have a roll of silver eagles. However, it's the same thing at the end of the day. And as you go on, you see a lot of people trading line. Look at this. These are lines of people trading stacks of cash to get, for jewelry. And why do these places want the jewelry? They want the jewelry because they're going to melt it down and they're going to send it to another country. Now, someone might say, well, they're not taking jewelry for food. If anybody here wanted to trade their jewelry for the food item, people would do it. Why? Because then they know they'll be able to sell it. And they might even be able to make a little bit more off of it. Because here's the thing. Do you think the stores that are selling the food want fiat dollars or fiat whatever they're using in Lebanon? No, they want something that's going to hold value. People recognize, just like me and you, the average person watching this, the average person watching this video right now would prefer to have a stack of gold and silver as opposed to a stack of dollars. That's why we buy precious metals. And once you understand that, you start to see the bigger picture of what is actually going on in this scenario. Now, once you start trading and you start looking into this, it's a strong possibility that it could happen here in the United States. Why? Because we overprint our money. Look at the amount of money that is out there in circulation, not even counting if you're to take a look at just the U.S. debt is $36.5 trillion. But that's not the only currency out there. There's huge amounts of currency out there. And we don't even have probably half that currency in the United States. A lot of that currency is in the form of bonds, treasury bonds that are sold to other countries. They're holding them. Other countries are holding our dollar reserves, and essentially they will use them later. Once you realize that, you understand that if something bad happens to the dollar, it's going to be like a hot potato. People are going to want to dump the dollars. And where are they going to go? They're going to all be sent back here. In fact, I believe that the average American will probably be one of the last people to realize what's going on. Why? Because the propaganda in the United States will be the best. Why? Because we're going to put it on every news station that, oh yeah, the dollar hit a bump in recent trading, but that's okay. It's nothing to worry about. The times are good. Things are getting better. Don't worry about it. Because they don't want you getting out of the system. I've given this scenario about the Amish, how they move the barn. They get 100 Amish people, 200 Amish people, and they all put pegs in the building, and they all lift at the same time. We're the ones lifting the dollar right now. If we start dropping it, and other countries are already dropping it, someone is going to be left holding the bag. That barn will fall when a bunch of Amish people step away from it and they let go of the building. Once you realize that, and here's the thing, countries outside the U.S., they've already been abandoning the dollar. Don't believe for a second that the dollar is stronger today than it was back then because you've been following the DXY chart and, oh, look, the dollar's so high. It's like as high as it's been in a while. Let's take a look at 6 months. I mean, look at that. The dollar's just been climbing. No. Let's do all. I always like the all charts so I can really see. I mean, yeah, you see these charts and it looks like the dollar is high up. But is it really? When you have a currency that is basically being priced compared to other currencies, I mean, yeah, the dollar's going to look good. We're the cleanest shirt in the wash, as some people say. But at the end of the day, if all the currencies are falling, does it really matter which one collapses to the bottom first? They're all falling. It's like if me, who I'm a big boy, I'm a heavy set person, and 10 other people all jump out of a plane. Well, yeah, I might hit the floor first. I might hit the ground first. Does it matter? Y'all are going to hit the ground too, maybe a minute or two after me. Even if maybe you spread your body out and you try to stretch it out as wide as you can, you're still falling. What, you're slowing your fall down a little bit? That's exactly what the U.S. dollar is doing. It's slowing its fall a little bit slower. And it's not even really moving slower. It just looks like it is because every other currency is falling faster than the U.S. dollar. You have to understand what's going on. And you have to understand gold and silver holds value. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you only gold and silver hold value. Why? We've clearly seen during the major crises, major events, what? We'll take Hurricane Harvey. Oh, generators did a great job at holding value. People all wanted generators. People would have paid double, triple, even quadruple for a generator. You look at Venezuela, rice, food, canned goods, that all held value. That all did really well. It pushed higher. But what didn't do well in every scenario is cash. Fiat dollars. People don't want it when they realize it's losing value. And when Americans realize what's happening, and they will eventually, that's it. People will dump the dollar quicker than you can imagine, and they will flood into hard assets. Now, hard assets, food, equipment, tools, who knows, anything. In Weimar, Germany, a good lesson in history, people were buying bricks because the bricks held value. And I don't mean the bricks currency. I mean literally concrete bricks, mortar bricks. Why? Because bricks had value. If a brick was, let's say today, $1 a brick and prices are going up, gold and silver go up, food goes up, bricks will probably go up. Maybe they'll be $1.10 next year, $1.20. Well, that's 20% more. Now, you might ask, well, what am I going to do with bricks? Someone will need them. I am not saying stockpile bricks in your backyard. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that hard assets, things you use, go up in value. I have a lot of canned goods on hand. I have a lot of shampoos, deodorants, toilet papers, paper towels, paper plates, plasticware, a lot of different things, a lot of frozen food, frozen steaks, frozen hamburger, frozen shrimp. I have a lot of different stuff on hand. Now, lately, I've been trying to use a lot of that up. Why? Because I'm thinking about just trying to downsize a little bit. And, I'll worry about that stuff when it comes. But the money that I get, the fiat dollars that I get, I'm converting more of that money into precious metals now. Why? Because precious metals will go up too. Now, precious metals, I think, is a great thing, really. Because here's the thing. With everything that I've named, yeah, it might not go bad tomorrow, but eventually you could have problems. It's hard to store 200 pounds of beef when your power grid goes down. Yeah, you could buy a generator. I mean, I understand there are fixes to the problems, but that costs you more money. You could have a ton of canned goods, but if something happened, a hurricane, and it took out your house or your storage unit, then what? With gold and silver, it's easy to grab it and leave. Just take it with you. Go wherever you got to go. Go away from the storm, the problems. There were people in Venezuela that left the country because they had gold and silver. They took their gold and silver and they left. Just like people will be like, they're not going to let you take that out of the country. Oh, you're right, they're not. But you know what? They also don't let people sneak into other people's countries, but yet it happens. And you wouldn't have to take all of it. I mean, literally, if you just had 20 ounces, 10 ounces of gold, 20 ounces of gold, I mean, you could put that in your pocket and go wherever you got to go. I want to be careful. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. I'm not giving any I gotta be careful. YouTube has some funny policies. But when something is that small and that valuable, it has value, and it has value everywhere in the world. So the possibility of you needing a dozen eggs from a guy that is getting more eggs, what is he gonna take? Is he gonna take some fiat bolivar from Venezuela, or is he gonna take a silver coin or a gold necklace or a silver necklace? And let's be real for a minute. I'm not saying that someone is going to give up a gold necklace for a dozen eggs. That's not what I'm saying. But gold is valuable. And if you can break down one link off of that chain, that's it. You got something. I really like this article right here. I mean, literally, you could pay for a meal with a flake of gold, a flake of silver, a silver coin. You could pay for a haircut. And here's the thing. People think that's not possible. I can tell you right now, I actually know one girl. She's told me, heck yeah, I would take some silver coins for a haircut. Why wouldn't I? It costs me nothing to do a haircut on someone. And I have actually traded stuff like that before with people. You guys have seen my videos where I've traded food for silver. And I've had some friends tell me, why would you give up your silver coins when you could have just dumped some worthless paper cash? My hope is that, one, I'm getting someone new into precious metals when I trade them precious metals for food, a haircut, whatever the case may be. The secondary effect is I believe that when I bulk purchase in big quantities, 100 ounces or more, I can get a better deal than they can buying 1 ounce. And what's more likely? Do you think a person that maybe owns a restaurant is going to want to go out and invest on 100 ounces of silver? No, they don't believe in it. You're explaining to them, but if they see a cool silver coin and they're like, oh, heck yeah, I'll give you $50 worth of food for that coin. That coin didn't cost you $50. I traded some guy asked me one time I needed a tire, a gently used tire. And it was from a place that basically they had a blowout. They had to get a new tire, and they talked the guy into just buying 4 new tires. What do you do with those other 3? I talked to the guy and said, hey, I need a tire. I don't really care if it doesn't match my other one. As long as it's the same size and it works, then it's good enough for me. And he goes, I'll tell you what, I got almost a new one. It looks great, $50. And I said, I'll tell you what, I got this beautiful 1995 American Silver Eagle. You probably won't see many of them. At the time, that coin was only worth maybe $25 or so. I said, I'll give you this coin. And he looked at it. He goes, that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen one of these. He showed it to his secretary. He said, pull up online what one of these go for. Lady looked online. She goes, you could probably find one somewhere for $30-$35. She looked there. If you're looking for one coin, you're not going to get one coin for $25 even at the time. Just because it sells for $25, they're going to pack on shipping and all kinds of other stuff. And so he said, yeah, I'll trade it. I basically got a $50 tire. And he probably didn't pay $50 for that tire. But you know what? I was about ready to have to pay $50 for that tire. But instead, I got rid of a silver coin for it. It was a good deal all the way around. Everybody came out up. He's probably still sitting on that 1 ounce Silver Eagle in his desk drawer, maybe even at his home, and he'll always have it. He's got something of value now. So that's going to be it on this talk. I already know I went close to 30 minutes, so I apologize for that. Oh, no, 22 minutes. That's awesome. So I basically got my point across in 22 minutes. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think we'd get it out that quick. But there's a lot of opportunity out there. And the possibility, if you've just got a stack of silver dimes, let me tell you this too. If you ever have to trade, hey, I got this silver dime. I'm trying to get a dozen eggs from you. Would you be willing to trade a dozen eggs? You got 50 chickens. They're producing eggs, more eggs than you can use. You don't want dollars. And, you take the silver coin. He's probably going to say, oh, wow, this is cool. How many of these do you have? Do you have a bunch of them? Don't volunteer information. A common question I always have is, they're just going to rob you and take it from you. There are some people that get robbed, and there are others that you don't want to rob. Don't tell people what you got. A silver coin is easy. I mean, I just have one. I've had it for years. My grandmother gave it to me, but you know what? I really need some eggs, so I'm willing to part with it. If you go back next week, hey, I found another one. I actually had a couple of them. You could keep that going on for a while. Is a crisis going to last till the end of time, the rest of your life? Probably not. Generally, crises last. They have a time period. And generally, they're not going to risk taking something from you when they can just trade with you. Because don't forget, good people are packing too. It's not just bad people. This belief that only bad people are packing is crazy to me. Most good people I know are carrying. And they're not going to get robbed. And you have just as much of a chance as they do. I mean, especially if you know what you're carrying and you know how to use it. I was military. I've spent a lot of time practicing. And so I don't really worry too much about it. And I'm not going to go out there with my whole collection and try to trade for some food and give them options. We ain't running a show here. It's not a coin show. I've got a couple of silver coins. I'm looking to maybe get some food. They have value. Do you want them or not? Keep in mind, they recognize gold and silver. If you're in a business, in a black market in these countries that have them, They understand it. And even business owners, some of them understand. And they should understand. They're in the key position to accept gold and silver for food when stuff breaks down. So the idea that you would never have to use it is obscene to me. I think it's more likely that you would have to use silver and gold to barter for food. It's just a matter of when will there be a currency crisis in your country. That's the question. Now once you've answered that, you have to understand almost every country now is heading towards currency crises. That's why a lot of people say by 2030 there's going to be a big reset of some sort. And why? Because this is not sustainable. I mean, look at houses. The average working person can't afford to buy a house nowadays. I see younger people, middle-aged people, I should say, living with their parents. I don't want to say waiting for them to drop so they can get the house, because technically they live in the house now. But you have to understand what's going on. Once you understand that, you understand why gold and silver holds value. Gold and silver is money. It always has been, and it always will be. Now, people can try to paint a picture, S&P 500 or stock shares or Bitcoin or Dogecoin or whatever, Ethereum. That all is like money too. No, it's not. Gold and silver has been time tested. It's been around for thousands of years, and it has always had value. Multiple currency crises have happened, and gold and silver has always held value. Once you understand that, you understand everything else has not been proven in battle yet. I don't want to take a armor-plated vest into battle that has never been tested. And then I get there and I find out they're all made out of plastic. Gold and silver has been tested. Bitcoin hasn't. And I'm not knocking Bitcoin in this video. I've knocked it plenty of times. I mean, hey, Bitcoin has done better than gold and silver in the last year. I mean, in the last 18 months. Gotta elaborate a little bit there, because if you just look at 1 year, if you look at the past 1 year, gold and silver is only up 20%, 19.61%. And I'm hoping you guys were able to see this as I was showing this. I don't know what's going on there. Boy, that's going to be devastating if you weren't even seeing any of what I was showing you guys. I guess I won't know until after if you guys were actually seeing what I was looking at. Bitcoin only up. I'll probably still load it. Bitcoin up 19% in the last 365 days. Gold up a whole lot more than that. Silver up a whole lot more than that. So I'm happy with gold and silver. Bitcoin hasn't been tested, and I'm not picking on Bitcoin today. But with that being said, I thank y'all for watching. Hopefully this video, you guys actually saw what I was looking at in it. I'm going to have to go back and check. I hope you weren't looking at this screen the whole time. And it didn't switch, because I have seen that happen before. With that being said, I thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. And man, I hope you weren't looking at that. That's driving me nuts now. I won't know until after, so I don't know if I'll even post this video. That will kind of be bumming. But look, 19% on Bitcoin in the last year, so someone don't think I was lying. Because it sounds like it's done better. If you go back 5 years, well, yeah, it's done a lot better in 5 years. But there again, it's not real money. With that being said, thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I hope to see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Please hit that thumbs up button. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.